Once upon a time, in the ancient city of Babylon, two families lived side by side. In one home lived the handsome young man known as Pyramus, and in the other lived the maiden every young man loved. Her name was Thisbe. They met when they were children, and what began as a wonderful friendship blossomed into a love as they grew older. That would have been a fine thing for most families, but the parents of Pyramus and Thisbe forbade them to marry. The families had begun to quarrel when their children were young, and their quarrel grew into a terrible feud. They built a tall wall between their two houses and told their children never to speak to or see each other again. But love will find a way to overcome walls, and as the years passed by, Pyramus and Thisbe managed to convey their feelings for each other with glances. And then one day, they discovered, to their delight and astonishment, a crack in the wall. No one else knew of its existence. Pyramus and Thisbe knew their love was blessed, and the crack allowed them to whisper messages back and forth to each other.
This wall is the cruelest thing in the world. How can anything keep us apart?
We have much to be grateful for, my love. We owe this crack in the wall our gratitude. It permits us to send each other our loving words.
Every other night, they whispered farewell and pressed their lips to either side of the wall, their kiss goodnight. One morning, as the stars dimmed and the sun began to burn the night's frost from the ground, they met again at the wall.
Thisbe, I have a plan.
He told his lover of his idea, born of his longing to be with her. They agreed that night, while everyone was fast asleep, they would slip away. They would leave their homes, their families, and all they had known all their lives, and at a place known as the tomb of Ninus, where a mulberry tree grew and a cool spring flowed, they would meet and forever be together. They kissed farewell.
Until tonight.
Whoever arrives first must wait.
I'll be there.
That night, when her parents were asleep, Thisbe tiptoed out of the house and quickly made her way to the tomb. She reached the place before her beloved, and so she sat beneath the tree, alone in the quiet night. Her heart beating so hard with excitement, she thought she might faint. Then, suddenly, she heard a sound. She turned and saw a stately lioness stalking toward the spring, seeking to quench her thirst. Blood dripped from her mouth, the evidence of a recent kill. The lioness took her drink and turned to leave, but then she spotted something on the ground. Thisbe had dropped her mantle in her haste. The lioness, curious, picked it up between her teeth and then, seeing it wasn't worth eating, dropped it and moved onto the forest.
Thisbe! Thisbe! Thisbe!
Thisbe was still hiding, and the sound of the wind and the rock muted her lover's voice. She did not hear a word and did not answer. Pyramus, meantime, ran toward the spring. It was then that he spotted the veil lying upon the ground, blooded by the lioness' mouth.
Thisbe! Beloved, I am the cause of your death. You are more worthy of living than I, and you have died. I will follow you to death.
And those words, he lifted the mantle and covered it with kisses and tears. He drew his sword and pierced his heart. His blood stained the white mulberries crimson. Now Thisbe, having waited patiently, crept slowly from her hiding place, cautiously looking around. She tiptoed toward the spring, and when she reached the tree, she thought at first she must have come to the wrong spot. As she turned, she saw her beloved lying on the ground.
Pyramus, who has killed you? Hear me, please, my darling. Lift your head. You have taken your life for mine. I will follow you to death, and may our parents who denied us happiness allow us to be joined in death. May they bury us together in one tomb.
Then she looked at the mulberry tree. She plunged Pyramus' sword into her own body. The families mourned deeply, and they granted the lovers' last wish, for they understood that nothing would keep them apart. The gods granted their wish as well, for ever afterward the berries of the mulberry tree remained crimson.
Urule